everyone, and welcome to the very first episode of Behind the Badge. This week we will be covering Hammarby, a Swedish club from Stockholm that calls the Tele2 Arena their home. Today we will be covering their history, traditions, supporters, legends of the club, their most favorite moments, and of course, this very same football shirt I am wearing and will give away in 3 days. Now, before we start, if you guys don't mind, I have a personal message for Hammarby supporters, Bajen, and it's gonna be in their language. Yeah, forgive me if I butcher this, and I 100% will, guys. So, here we go. Heja Bajen! Först måste jag tacka dig för att du tittade på den här videon. Jag hoppas att jag kommer att göra ett bra jobb för er eftersom jag vet hur mycket den här klubben betyder för er. Jag vill att du ska veta att jag inte har något annat än respekt, kärlek och beundran för din klubb. Jag vill ta tillfället i akt att sträcka ut min hand av vänskap och kärlek till er. Kärleken du har till din klubb är inget mindre än verkligen fantastisk. Jag hoppas att du förlåter mig om jag gör några misstag i videon. Jag menar ingen respektlöshet mot dig eller din klubb. Kärlek, Dino from Kroatien. Forza Hammarby! Now when it comes to Hammarby, I think it would be a good idea, just to cover the basics before we get into the history, before we get into the supporters, etc. So yeah, basically Hammarby as a club was formed on the 13th of August in 1915. It's actually a part of a huge sports organization called Hammarby IF, which was founded in 1889. And they actually cover a lot of sports. So they have athletics, they have ice hockey, they have rowing, which is kind of the biggest deal. At least it was. They have skiing, they have table tennis, they have golf, they have so many things. But yeah, when it comes to the football club, it was formed in 1915 when they got their first stadium, sports ground called Kanalplan. Yeah, they're a club from Stockholm and they play in the first division of Swedish football. It's called Allsvenskan. They won it once in 2001. And it was on the 21st of October in 2001. And I remember this quite quickly because, yeah, when it comes to favorite moments, of course, that's the most favorite moment of most Hammarby supporters. And when it comes to the club itself, they play on, they call the Tele2 Arena their home. It's got a capacity of 33,000 and they moved there in 2013. Now, of course, everyone misses their old stadium, which is something that I can understand. Being an Arsenal fan, Highbury and Emirates are, yeah, not the same thing. But another problem they have is that they actually share the stadium since 2013 with one of their main rivals, Djurgården, which is a club also from Stockholm. So yeah, it's not really an ideal situation for them. They miss their old stadium, and yeah, it's gonna stay like that. Of course, you're gonna be nostalgic. And when it comes to the club and their performances, yeah, it's not really good. They keep yo-yoing, getting relegated, then getting promoted, then getting relegated again, and that's how it was throughout their history, unfortunately for the supporters. Like I said, they only won the league once, and they won the cup also once in 2021, which is also a huge achievement, of course. But despite all of the bad results, let's call it like that, like they don't care. They don't care. They love their club so much. They have the highest average attendance in all of Scandinavia. They keep breaking records left, right, and center. They broke a new record for average attendance in 2022, which was 26,000 372, which is insane. And in 2015, sorry, they actually broke the average attendance record held since 1959. So yeah, and they got relegated in 2009 and stayed in the second division, almost fell to the third division. And this shirt is actually from a period when they were in the second division. Yeah, they stayed there for 5 years. So yeah, their fans stuck by them. They had over 20,000 people as average attendance, despite being in the second leagues, which is an insane achievement. So yeah, this guys, this is a special club. This is a club that basically represents what I'm saying. That results come and go, managers come and go, coaching staff, the players as well. But it's the people who stay. You know, the players might have a career of 5, 10 years over there. For them, it's all their life. It's over 60 years. So when it comes to the fans themselves, Bayern, yeah, they're doing a proper job. They're showing how to love your club. And yeah, I watched a lot of videos in preparation for this, so I could understand the fans a bit better because unfortunately I couldn't go over there to meet them. And yeah, they're just fanatics, proper football fanatics. To them, Hammarby is everything. They don't care about the rest. They only want to know about their club. And when I saw the interviews, yeah, they were basically talking about their club with a tear in their eye all the time because despite everything, they're still so proud because it's their own club. It's their club. It's their everything. It's their team. It's their colors, and their colors, by the way, as you can see, are green and white. And it wasn't always like this, but we'll cover that in history. And yeah, their biggest legend is Kennedy, but we will get to him soon. And yeah, I think that's it for the basics. And yeah, let's get into the history. Now, just like we covered in the basics, Hammarby Football Club was formed on the 13th of August 1915 when the sports ground Hammarby Idrottsplatz, also known as Kanalplan, was built. And at the time when it was built, there was a great shortage of grass pitches in the Stockholm area, so Hammarby received merger proposals from football clubs all over the place that wanted to use the new pitch, of course. And one of them was Johanneshov's, who was actually refused because they demanded that Hammarby change their name to Johanneshov's and yeah, change their green and white colors to black and yellow. However, yeah, they refused it because it was harsh conditions. So instead, it was Clara Sport Club who was welcomed into the sports organization Hammarby, and yeah, they finally formed a football section. And the name Clara SK was deleted from the Eastern Swedish series because they sent a proposal after 8 rounds of the Eastern Swedish series, and it was replaced by Hammarby, and they won the series. So their first match was played on the 15th of August 1915 against Vosterosk, and they won 5-0. And the first ever goal scorer for Hammarby was Ragnar Ragge Gunnarsson. In 1918, though, Johanneshov called them again because their situation has worsened, and yeah, they made contact with Hammarby again because they wanted to merge. But this time they didn't get the demand that they need to change their name Hammarby to Johanneshovs, but they actually succeeded in changing the colors to black and yellow. And yeah, on November 15, 1918, they basically reached an agreement. They're gonna merge. Hammarby is gonna stay the name, but they're gonna wear black and yellow for 60 years. So no more green and white, just black and yellow for 60 years. Hammarby had yeah, let's call it a good time. had a real good time in the 20s, and they participated in the Swedish series, which was their main tier at the time, and they finished third actually. And in 1922, Hammarby qualified for the final in the Swedish championships, but yeah, ultimately lost to Gais with the score 3-1. And then when the first division, the now first division, Allsvenskan, was formed in the season 24-25, Hammarby were one of the founding members because they had good results in the series and the championships. And their first match was played away against Orgite Is on August 3rd, 1924. And after just 11 minutes, Hammarby took the lead through Rickard Larsson, which is actually the first Allsvenskan goal ever. But as it goes with Hammarby, unfortunately, they lost the match 5-1 and finished dead last after they only had two victories. So they got relegated to the second division. They actually stayed in the second division for 15 years until 1939 when they managed to get promoted. However, as it goes, unfortunately again, the second time didn't go great either. They finished last and got relegated. They stayed in that division until the season 46-47, when they actually finished last in the second division and got relegated not one, but two divisions because of the changes in the league system. Interestingly enough, this was midfielders Lennart Nacka Skoglund's first season with Hammarby. He's one of Sweden's greatest players ever, who got inducted in the Hall of Fame. He won the bronze medal at the World Cup held in Brazil in 1950, and then won the silver medal at the World Cup held in Sweden in 1958. And he's by all means one of Hammarby's greatest players ever, if not the greatest player ever. I read that he finishes consistently first in basically every single poll they put on their website. And it's also important to know that he was also a Hammarby supporter who was born in Söderlund, which is a district in Stockholm. It's super important for Bajen, for Hammarby, for their identity, but we'll get to that in the supporters section. And he played 113 matches for Hammarby. He scored 28 goals, and even his brothers played for Bayern. He played for Hammarby from 1946 until 1949, but because they were playing in the third division, he actually had his professional debut, let's call it like that, in the first Swedish division for one of Hammarby's greatest rivals, Ike, who were also from Stockholm. And after the 1950 World Cup, after the great performances, he got sold to Italy actually, and he played for Internazionale Milano for 9 years, and he was super. He was really good for them and became one of the most notable Swedish players over there. And then he went to Sampdoria, and then he went to Palermo, and it wasn't really working for him anymore. So he actually came back to Hammarby and spent 3 seasons there playing. But his last season wasn't really that good. Apparently, they needed to literally wake him up in his apartment and take him to training. The season after that, 1968, wasn't going well. They were dead last. They were not playing good, and they were playing the leaders at the time, who needed only 1 point to win the league. But Hammarby was 1-0 up. And the story goes that Skoglund at halftime, he jumped from the stands. He was with the supporters. He jumped from the stands, ran over to the bench, and just transmitted his passion and energy and gave them advice for the players. And they actually went 10 games unbeaten, the last 10 rounds unbeaten, and finished 5th in the league, which was their greatest finish ever at the time. So he's one of their greatest ever players, and this is how he started in Hammarby in a very bad spot. But this just shows how much these guys love their club, especially if you're from the area. It's a part of your identity. It's a part of who you are, and Naka was definitely one of them. Hammarby finally came back to the Allsvenskan in the season 1954-55 after 15 seasons of absence. They immediately got out of the fourth division. They spent 2 seasons in the third division and then 4 seasons in the second division. In the season 1953-54, when they got promoted, they actually won the second division without a single loss. In the 1957-1958 season, they were back in the second division, unfortunately for them. But yeah, they only stayed there for 1 season. Interestingly enough, this was when Sweden changed their league system from autumn to spring to autumn, so they could avoid the 6 month winter break. And then it started going. It's no longer the season 61-62, it's the season 61. And yeah, the 1961 season was like most of the seasons for Hammarby. It had a dramatic finish. So before the last round, Hammarby was in the relegation zone on 18 points, the same number as AIK and Degerfors, but with a worse goal difference. So they were in a bad position. And in the last season, Degerfors actually played AIK while Hammarby took on IFK Göteborg. And if Degerfors and AIK played to a draw, Hammarby needed to win. Otherwise, just a draw would be enough to stay in the league. And after 32 minutes, things were not looking good for Hammarby. Göteborg was 3-0 up. But Hammarby managed to reduce the scoreline to 3-1 before the halftime break. And then another legend, Lars-Ove Larsa Johansson, scored 2 goals and equalized. And at the same time, in the 74th minute, when he equalized, Degerfors actually took the lead against AIK. Hammarby managed to keep the draw and managed to stay like this. 1961 was the year that Tom Turesson, another legend, made his debut for Hammarby. And in 1966, both Kenneth Kenta Olsson and Ronny Hellström, who won the Golden Ball twice, made their debuts for Hammarby. So as you can see, Hammarby was the club where many fantastic players started. In 1969, Hammarby moved to their beloved Söderstadion. And they ended the 1960s with 2 seasons in the second division. But after winning the series and the qualifier in 1969, they were back in the Allsvenskan in 1970. This is when they spent 19 years in first division, their longest stay in the first division ever. But then it started yo-yoing again in Hammarby fashion. In 1977, Hammarby reached the final in the Swedish Cup for the first time. They faced Östers IF at Söderstadion, but lost 1-0 after a goal by Anders Linderoth, who would later become their coach. In 1978, 60 years after the merger with Johanneshov, they changed to uniforms, white shirts, green trousers and white socks. In 1997, the stripes came back, however, in the new old green and white color that you can see now, with green shorts and white socks. Since then, they mostly played in green and white striped jerseys. Sometimes they played in white jerseys and green shorts. It depends how they feel, I guess. In 1983, Hammarby reached the final of the Swedish Cup for the second time when they faced IFK Göteborg. They lost 1-0 after extra time, so it was already a lot of hurt for the Bajen. And in 1983, Hammarby actually participated for the first time in one of UEFA's European Cups, the Cup Winners' Cup, and they defeated Albanian KS17 Nentori. They went out against the Finnish club FC Haka after extra time. They weren't that successful, and then 2 years later, in 1985, they participated in the UEFA Cup for the first time, and they defeated Pirin in the first round, and in the second round, they defeated Saint Mirren. The whole match ended 3-3. Hammarby had a lead of 3-1, but then they played in Scotland, and Saint Mirren took the lead after 20 minutes, and it stood until the final minutes. And then in the 87th minute, Hammarby equalized, and in the 89th minute, they scored the winning goal, which then took them to the third round. They had to play against FC Köln. They played at home, and this match was played in November. So the pitch was just covered in snow, as it goes in Scandinavia. They won the first match 2-1, but then went for the away game in Germany. They took the lead 1-0, But yeah, they ultimately lost 3-1, and yeah, they were eliminated. Then in 1988, after 19 years of being in the first division, they got relegated. That season when they got relegated is wow, like so interesting. So basically how it goes, in 1989, former player Kent Olsson took them over as a coach. And before the last round, they were second, and Vasalunds If led by 1 point and had a 6-goal difference over Hammarby. They drew, and in the case of a draw, Hammarby would need to score 6 goals to pass. And at halftime, they were playing Karlstad. At halftime, they were 2-0 up, and it was 0-0. At the other match, they scored for 4-0 in the 87th minute. The other match finished, and yeah, Vasalund, they started celebrating, thinking that they can reach the first division for the first time. However, Hammarby had other plans, and in the 90th minute, they made it 5-0. And then in extra time, at the time, they got a corner, and Niklas Johnson scored for 6-0. And Hammarby won the second division and went back to the Allsvenskan. Insanely enough, just a year after that, in 1990, but I mean, insanely enough, but then again, unfortunately common for Hammarby, yeah, they finished that last in the Allsvenskan and they got relegated. And this is when one of their hardest periods in history actually began, because they spent 3 years in the second division, and yeah, they had huge financial problems as well. And according to articles, at one point they were just an hour away from bankruptcy. But yeah, thankfully they managed to save their beloved club, so I can make this video anyway and talk about this great club and the special fans that surround it. And yeah, they came back to the first division, but yeah, they didn't stay for long. They just keep yo-yoing back and forth between the first division and second division. Yeah, the 90s were tumultuous period for them. In 1997, they hired a coach, Rolf Zetterlund, who was all right, I guess. Not the best. They started good in 1998, but in at the end of the season, yeah, they didn't really manage to keep on to the lead, and they finished third. And then in 1999, yeah, they started falling again, and yeah, they were lost after only 16 rounds. So the coach Rolf Zetterlund had to go, and another coach came in, a certain Soren Kratz. I think Bajen know exactly who I'm talking about, and I think they have a smile on their face right now. But we'll get to that, guys. We're so close. And yeah, they almost got relegated again. But yeah, on the final round, Hammarby beat Trelleborg 4-1, and the other results went their way. And yeah, they reached 10th place and managed to stay in the division. And then in 2000, Hammarby finished 8th. And something special happened in 2001. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the moment we've all been waiting for, the famous 2001 season when Hammarby won the league.
Lasse, som ju växte upp och fostrats till Hammarby, han återvänder till klubben. Och kan man avsluta på ett bättre sätt genom att ta SM-guld och få ta hand om pokalen i sin allra sista tävlingsmatch. Det är laget som graveras in först.
Yeah, when it comes to 2001, it didn't really start good from a club aspect, not the team aspect, because they realized that they had a lot more debt than they thought, so they had to bring a new chairman in. However, the team was doing pretty damn good. They were undefeated in the first 7 rounds, and yeah, they were playing good. They were getting results. However, Hammarby's board decided that because they're doing so good, it would be a good idea to not extend the contract with the legend, the coach Soren Kratz, because they wanted Hammarby to play a more attractive football. However, this brought the players and the coach together a lot more. They just bonded together because of the hardship. And yeah, they stayed on top for the entire duration basically. And on the famous 21st of October 2001, they had to play Orgrite Is at their beloved Söderstadion. Yeah, if they won, they'd be champions. But in true Hammarby fashion, Orgrit took the lead, so they were 1-0 down in a match they had to win to finally be champions.
Kan han komma med ett inlägg? Ja, det gör han. Åbyn är helt ren. Och det är 1-0. Och det är alldeles tyst på Söderstadion i den 10:e matchminuten. Jeffrey Åbyn, som vi varnade för.
But yeah, they equalized after 30 minutes.
Hermansson, och den där är lurig. Och det är kvitterat på Söderstadion.
And then in the second half, Jonas Stark, he scored to make it 2-1.
Markstedt försökte nicka vidare till Hermansson. Han får en ny chans och så väljer han att skjuta. Då är Bergkrot emellan, Trym Bergman då. Och det där är farligt. Och det är 2-1 till Hammarby. I den 51:a matchminuten. Vi har spelat 6 minuter av andra halvlek. Drygt. Och Hammarby tar ledningen med 2-1.
And then just to be sure, like 15 minutes later, a certain Kennedy scored for 3-1.
Mikael Hellström, Markstedt, alltid spelbar som vanligt. Kennedy gör det där bra och gör det fräckt. Och det är 3-1 till Hammarby. I den 69:e matchminuten, Kennedy Bakircioglu som gör sådär. Och nu är det nära.
Mycket i bakgrunden så det kommer du inte se. Det är fantastiskt kyla. Det som mest imponerande är att Kennedy som inte känd för sitt styrka. Han går in i närkampen och ser till att han vinner det. Och han tittar upp, 2 tillslag och ja, hur elegant som helst.
They considered another one, but that didn't matter because they won 3-2. And after 86 years of existing, they finally became the Swedish champions.
Och där är matchen slut. Man spelar inte klart. Man spelar inte klart. De 4 minuterna som fjärdedomarna hade på sin tavla. Utan Karl-Erik Nilsson hade en annan tid. Och publiken stormar planen.
Ja, matchbollen! Ja!
Wow, I can only imagine what feeling that was for the fans. Like I said, I watched some videos to understand you guys better. Yeah. Basically, what everyone said is that for a week, yeah, you had two kinds of people. One, those that were drunk for an entire week, and the second, just people who couldn't sleep normally. But yeah, how can you blame them, man? It's wow. And that season was actually pretty damn insane too, because for the first time ever, 3 teams from Stockholm finished in the top 3 positions. So imagine that, guys. You are fighting for the title for the first time, and you have your main rivals on your heels. So you have Djurgården and you have Ike. Man, and it must have hurt them a lot that Hammarby won. But yeah, I'm sure Bajen didn't care at all, or they were just too drunk to care. The rest of the naughties were, I would say, all right for Bajen. In 2002, like I said, Soren Kratz didn't get an extension, even though he just won them the league. So they got a new coach, Anders Linderoth. And yeah, in 2002, they barely managed to stay in the league. They managed to survive in the last round. And yeah, they actually played. This is a really good story. They played Helsingborg at home, and they beat them 3-1. And the coach of Helsingborg was none other than Soren Kratz. So yeah, after the match, he did a lap of honor uh, across the stadium.
Och Sören Kratz lämnar Stockholm som förlorare idag. Men Hammarby-fansen hyllade honom ännu en gång efter matchen. Hur var det nu att vara motståndare? I tabellen tar Hammarby ett rejält kliv från 11:e till 8:e plats. Nu 2 poäng och en placering efter Helsingborg.
Hammarby fans loved it. Soren Kratz loved it. But yeah, Helsingborg didn't love it at all. So they basically sacked him the day after that. But yeah, I don't think he cared that much. This is something special. And they played Europe. They played in the Champions League. They played in the UEFA Cup. They played in the Intertoto. They played some proper team in the process, like Braga, Villarreal. But yeah, they weren't really doing proper results in the league. They weren't in the title fight anymore. They were all over the place. They were third, second. They were like almost last, etc. And in the season 2008, they finished 9th. And then in 2009, yeah, unfortunately, the worst happened, and they got relegated. They got relegated to the second division. They almost got relegated to the third division as well. And yeah, they stayed down there for 5 years until 2014. After that, they actually managed to stay in the league without dropping to the second league. And then in the season 2021, they won the cup.
Försök i finaler. Så sätter han dit den där, stolpe in. Och Hammarby är cupmästare. Och det är Astrid Selmani som är matchvinnare i en oerhört dramatisk cupfinal på Tele2 Arena i Stockholm. Som innehöll så otroligt mycket. Men det var straffsparkarna som avgjorde. Och Astrid Selmani...
The season 2021, like I said, was a great one for them when it comes to cup glory and winning a trophy. But when it comes to the league, yeah, you could say that it was all right. They were once again all over the place. They were scoring goals, which was good for them. They were still finishing third, second. They just couldn't make the final push again. Yeah, they changed coaches all the time, basically. And yeah, they played Europe as well. Yeah, but they missed that something to make the extra push. And yeah, as you guys know, from 2020 onwards, because of the COVID pandemic, matches were played without supporters. So unfortunately, the 2021 Cup win wasn't witnessed by the supporters on the stands, which is heartbreaking, of course.
Gröna, vita Oslo!
Like I said, this is Hammarby's history. I missed out on so many things, but it's impossible to put them all in one video, especially when we have other things to go through as well, because it will just last 5-6 hours. Their history is super interesting, guys. They had so many players that started over there, that played for them. They went through so many fun and interesting situations as well. Especially regarding the colors. I've never heard of a deal like they had, where they had to wear some colors for 60 years. For me, that's unheard of. I've never heard that story before, something like that. So there's always something new to learn, guys. This is why I'm making this series. Yeah, that's pretty much it when it comes to history. I'm both happy because they did manage to win 2 trophies, but then also I'm sad because, like you guys have heard, from 1915 onwards, yeah, it's just been up and down and up and down, and I would even say more down than up. And they were let down by their boards, by their players, by their coaching staff so many times. But yeah, they're still there. And what I didn't mention is that when they were in the second division, let's say from 50s onwards, they still managed to attract an audience, which was over 10,000 strong, 15,000 strong, 20,000 strong. And like I said in the introduction, in the basics, yeah, they're still breaking records. They're breaking average attendance records. They had over 20,000 people when they were in the second league in the period between 2009 and 2014. So yeah, they're like I said, they broke a record that stood since 1959, which is incredible. I'm gonna say the number. I've written it down. Yeah, they in that season in 2015, they had 25,507 people as average attendance, and the previous record was held by Orgrite, the club who they beat to win the league in 2001, and they had an average attendance in 1959, which was 25,490. And then, because it's Hammarby, because they love their club so much, because yeah, it's everything to them, they broke the record again in 2022 after the pandemic, and they had 26,372 people in attendance. Guys, whatever your club does, yeah, just keep it up. Yeah, you're doing a fantastic job. You're showing how to love your club, and yeah, we will get to you very soon. Now, when it comes to the sections after history, I wanted to divide supporters and Kennedy, an absolute legend of Hammarby. But then I thought to myself, what's the point? I don't need to divide them. Kennedy is a supporter as well. So yeah, we're gonna work through them together. But first, I'm gonna focus on the average regular fans, and then we can talk about Kennedy. So basically, when it comes to the supporters of Hammarby, yeah, they're so good. And what is there to say that hasn't been said already? They're breaking average attendances left, right, and center. They're breaking records. They're there for their club all the time. It doesn't matter if they're in the second division. They could fall in the fifth division. They will still support the club. When I was on a podcast with Boston United fans, I said that honestly, I wouldn't care if Boston was playing in the 11th division, because results come and go, players come and go, coaching staff, everyone comes and goes, but it's the fans that are there all the time. And yeah, they just prove it so well. They call themselves the bad weather fans, which is cheeky, because fair weather fans, as some of you may know, are just supporters who support their team and go to the matches when they're doing good. And because Hammarby does bad most of the time, yeah, they just call themselves the bad weather fans, because it doesn't matter what the result is, they stick by their team.
There are two words in Swedish. One is called medgångssupporter, which is the worst thing you can be. I think you said it was called fair weather supporter. The ones who only turn up when the club is doing great. And in Hammarby we coined the phrase motgångssupporter, bad weather. The ones who are there when it goes against you. And I think we have actually proved that we are very good at this.
And yeah, I think you can feel the connection that I mentioned at the start of the video with Södermalm. So Södermalm is a district in Stockholm, a working class district. It was mostly populated by working class people, and this is where Hammarby was actually formed, like the sports organization, because there was a lake nearby called Hammarby. Um, they're just so good, and it's so nice to know that you have fans like they are who stick with the working class principles. And I really enjoyed, when I watched the documentaries and the videos on YouTube, what the founder of Hammarby Ultras, Mikael Halbom, said in 2015, how he doesn't care what your political stance is. He doesn't give a damn if you're left, right, center. Doesn't really matter to him. He doesn't want to see a Nazi flag. He doesn't want to see a Che Guevara flag. He doesn't want to see a gay flag. He wants to see Hammarby flags, because on that stand, on that stadium, Hammarby is king.
The politic things, I think it destroys between the supporter groups. I know there is right-wing supporters in Hammarby, there's left-wing, there's people that probably don't care about politics anyway. So let's go for Hammarby. Doesn't matter who you are, everybody's welcome.
And this for me is football. I understand that politics can get in football all the time, and sometimes football can help with the politics as well. But yeah, politics, they're just here to divide us, and I can understand him completely, because then you get fans who are left, you get fans who are right, and they start getting divided. So you get a division inside the family, because that's what Bayern are. It's a family. They're not supporters, it's a family. And you don't want that. So yeah, I agree with him 100%, and I think this is how we should all operate. We should just focus on the club, on our colors, on our sacred badge, on our sacred shirt, and then you will get proper results as a supporter, which you can see, because, like I said, Hammarby supporters are breaking records all the time for average attendance. So I just want to give a huge kudos to the supporters, because yeah, there's nothing I can say. They should improve. Honestly, there's nothing I can say that they should do to improve how they are. They're just the way it needs to be. And one day they will be fortunate to see their club win consistently. And this is something that they have been waiting for their entire history. The last 20 years are an enigma. 24 years are an enigma when we look at their history. But long may continue. Long may they continue winning titles and winning cups. They always get to that almost last step, and they just fall down. But they started winning, and yeah, I think these guys deserve it so much, because yeah, they've been through so much pain and suffering. Yeah, they're just so good, and there's literally nothing more I can say. I could focus on the ultras side of the Hammarby family. Yeah, but I think there's so many videos on that, and yeah, I don't really see the point, because you've seen how much love they have. And after that, for me, I understand that flares, especially as a guy coming from Split, where you have Torcida Split, the oldest firm in Europe, founded in 1950. Yeah, I understand that flares contribute to the atmosphere, smokes and everything, and it looks great. I have to agree, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you want to die for your club, that you love it more than you love yourself. And this is why I don't want to focus that much on the ultra side, but on the love aspect more, on the fact that everybody's welcome at Hammarby. They're the kind of people that I love the most. I'm sure that if I ever get the chance to talk to a Hammarby fan in person, yeah, then they will have a smile on their face all the time when they talk about the club. And yeah, this is what you want. This is what you want as a football fan. And this is what I hope my Behind the Badge series will be. Just going around the world, learning about clubs that have supporters that are just brilliant, that are forgiving all the time, that are not mad at their club. They can be hurt. They are hurt all the time, but they don't stop loving it. And that's, for me, my guys, is pure love that every fan that calls himself a football fan should have for their club. Bravo, Bajen.
Det har han gjort några gånger i sin karriär med lyckat resultat. Frågan är hur det går den här gången. Kennedy med skottet. I mål! Vilket mål av Kennedy Bakircioglu!
Now, that absolute filth of a free kick is actually one of the most important goals ever scored in Hammarby history. It was scored by a 37-year-old Kennedy, an absolute legend of Hammarby, in his last game of the season. And it's not even about the goal, it's about what happened after the goal. But we will get to that. I'm gonna keep you waiting for just a tiny bit more. I mean, if you watch these 40-something minutes, I think you can hang on just for a bit more. Yeah, what is there to say about Kennedy? An absolute legend of the club, a servant, just a fantastic guy. So basically, in 1999, when he was 19 years old, he signed for Hammarby and he played for them for 4 years until 2003. I'm not going to go into all the statistics. It doesn't really matter. For me, it's about the feeling. It's about what he brought to the fans and how much they love him. He was a phenomenal player, and he was one of the most important players when they won the title in 2001. As you saw before, he scored a third goal in the match that won them the league, basically. And yeah, after 2003, he left Hammarby. And he went to Iraklis, then he went to Twente, then he went to Ajax. And he was at Ajax until 2010. And then he went to Racing Santander because, as he said in an interview, he wanted to try Spain, etc. But all that time, his eyes were pinned on Stockholm, on Hammarby, because, as you remember from the history section, they were in the second league back then, and yeah, things were not looking good. Like I said, they almost dropped to the third division. Yeah, it was almost a huge disaster. And then he was like, yeah, guys, I don't care about Spain. I don't care about the huge clubs, huge leagues. I want to help the club I love. And he came back to Hammarby, to the second division, and he helped them get back to the first division. And yeah, he played for 6 years until 2018. And the goal you just saw was in his last game of the season. And yeah, he was saying that he wasn't really getting game time in that last season. He was on the bench all the time, basically. He wasn't getting picked. The fans were frustrated as well because they want to see him. They want to see him play. He's a magician with the ball. He's a number 10. He's a shadow striker and attacking midfielder. And in those last seasons, he switched a bit deeper so that he could be a playmaker, a central midfielder. And yeah, he wasn't getting really picked. And then all of a sudden, in the last game of the season, he gets picked. And as he said, 2 guys were warming up. I was sitting on the bench, and all of a sudden, the coach comes to me and says, "Come on, Kennedy, start warming up." And he said that he only had 30 seconds to warm up, and then he went to the game. And actually, a penalty was rewarded for Hammarby, but yeah, he didn't want to take it because it would be his literally first kick of the ball, and he was like, what if I miss? Because, like I said, it was his last game of the season, last game ever, basically, because he said that he wants to retire. And then they had a free kick, and he loved scoring free kick, as I'm sure Bajen know very well. And yeah, he scored an amazing free kick. And what happened after that is a stuff of legends.
Det är ett av årets vackraste mål, och det är få som kan göra sådär. Kennedy, oj, vilken kanon han skickar in där utifrån.
Yes, you saw that right. The madman actually caught a bear in a plastic cup thrown at him from the stands. It somehow didn't spill. It had half a beer. Yeah, he grabbed it, choked it, threw it away, and celebrated with the fans Name me one time when you've seen that. Like that's insane. How does that even happen? I really don't understand. And yeah, it's stuff of legend. Whoa, 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 whoa. Would you look at that? Half a beer in a plastic cup. I think there's nothing much to say other than to Bajen and Kennedy, skål. Forza Hammarby!
Lite grann, skjuter ändå! I mål!
Now, as good as maybe it would be to end the video on that note of me chugging half a beer, I think, yeah, I have a responsibility for the Bayern fans that I asked in the supporters group on Facebook what their favorite memory regarding the club is. And Jens Stellen said that his favorite memory regarding the club is when the Samba came south. The magical season of 1982 must be a good start to understand Bayern's modern journey. And unfortunately, I couldn't find any material that could fit in the video. But yeah, in 1982, Hammarby supporters, they filled empty cups of beer with gravel, literally gravel, and started making noise. Like samba. And then everybody started bringing their own samba instruments. And yeah, they just created an atmosphere that was amazing and something that wasn't seen in Scandinavia before. I'm gonna post a link in the description of a video that has that. But yeah, it's so long, so I don't wanna like you saw. I'm clipping every single clip, so I don't want to steal content that belongs to other people. So I'm just gonna put the beer returning. I'm just gonna put the link in the description. Then we have Bjorn Kjellberg Kvarnmalm, who said that his favorite memory is when Niklas Johnson scored 6-0 at Karlstad in the last seconds of the last match of the season, and with that goal takes Hammarby back to top flight in Sweden. Magical. It happened October 22nd, 1989. Fortunately for Bjorn, we covered that in the history section. Olli Ingermarsson, like I said, many people have this as their favorite memory. He said on October 21st, 2001, and not at least a week before the match against Greece. Many were convinced that we could never win the gold. Some slept minimally during that period. Others were drunk for a week, as you do. Harry Gore said, and sorry if I butchered your surname, he said that his favorite memory is Hammarby Nadzu Djurgården 2016, when they came back from 0-2 to 4-2. I'm gonna post highlights to that match, but yeah, you always love that. And last, but definitely not least, is Mats Klang, whose favorite memory is when Kennedy catches the bear. And as we're approaching the end of the video, yeah, you can't see my head. That is because now, finally, we're going to focus on this beautiful, beautiful shirt. It's the home kit from the 2010-2011 season when Hammarby was unfortunately in the second division. But yeah, it's so beautiful. You have the Pepsi sponsorship here. But yeah, it doesn't really take away from the shirt. You have the beautiful badge right here. Yeah, sorry guys about the quality, but yeah, we just started, so yeah, we'll get there. You have Kappa, just a legendary Italian manufacturer. When I see these two babes over here and over here, I immediately think of Fiorentina in the 90s, of Roma, of all the legendary clubs that use Kappa, and I personally love it. I love to see it. I love to see the badge, the Kappa badge. So yeah, guys, in just 3 days' time, this beautiful kit is going to belong to one of you. And before we finally end the video, I didn't forget about the ladies. I never forgot about the ladies. Guys, Hammarby is a club that is way ahead of its time when it comes to the women's football. they actually had a team in the 1920s. So that was 50 years before anybody else. In the 1920s, they had a women's team, which is just incredible. And guys, yes, before I just finish this video, I just want to say one thing. Because I joined the supporters group a few days ago to ask you guys for the favorite moments. Yeah, I saw that you guys are, just full on angry. And I think it would be also fair to tell you guys what's happening with Hammarby now. Yeah, they lost 2-1 yesterday to Halmstads. Yeah, it wasn't a good match for them. They scored in the 90th minute, so they were 2-0 down until the 90th minute. They had 74% of possession, and it didn't work for them. Currently, they're 11th on the table. They have 2 wins and 3 defeats in 5 matches. They scored 8 and conceded 7, so they got 6 points. And I just saw the people they're upset, that are angry, that are hurt, which is understandable. It always hurts when your club is not performing to the standard you want it to, and when you love the club, you always want the best for it, of course. So I see you guys, I see your pain, and there's nothing you can do really but to hold on in the true Bajen fashion and love your club. I learned so much about your club, and I hope others will in this video as well. It's long, it's very long, but you can't, in my opinion, you can't really make a 20-minute video on any club that you need to know them. And once I get the opportunity to film, to go to matches, etc., the videos are gonna be like an hour and a half long. Probably it's gonna be like a mini movie. But that's what you guys deserve. You guys don't deserve that I slack, on loads of things. I feel bad because I didn't cover the stadiums. But Hammarby went through like 6 or 7 stadiums. We could talk for like 20 minutes more, which I don't think you guys would probably want to take me talking for another 20 minutes. I know that the previous stadium that you moved out of in 2013, Söderstadion, it's a painful one. It breaks your heart, but it is what it is, guys. I think like I said, I'm an Arsenal supporter as well, so I sort of know what it feels. In 2006 when we moved from Highbury to Emirates, it felt soulless. All the good memories and everything was lost, and you got this fully modern stadium. It doesn't really sit well. And especially with you guys, you got that situation where you have to share the stadium. They're calling it their home, you're calling it your home. It's a sticky situation. But I hope I did a good job. I hope you guys will be pleased. I would like you guys to tell me of all the mistakes I did. I'm not even gonna say if I made mistakes. I 100% did mistakes. But that's how it should go. I think everybody should make mistakes in order to learn. And guys, like I said, you're a proper club with proper fans, with proper history as well. Just hang on, guys. I'm gonna be following you. I hope it turns out good. And I wish I could check another beer now for you guys to end the video like properly, like I should have. But it's gonna be all right. Thank you guys for watching. Tack, Bajen, and see you in the next video, guys.